Though, can we avoid making the same mistake as President Obama? Joining us now is Michael Tipper, who runs courses for people who want to improve their memory. How bad is it, do you think, getting people's names wrong when you've clearly met them before?
It can be devastating, as we see. I mean, the amount of press coverage over this has meant that people are just really focusing on it, so it can be quite devastating.
Is there a way of how do you do it? I mean, you teach people to improve their memory. So with names specifically, is there a technique?
Very much so. Well, I think if we have a look at what went wrong with Obama, it's not really a memory problem. What you've got is in his own mind is there's a strong connection between Jeffrey and Osborne. The brain is a very complex mechanism, but it likes to keep things simple. So there's a part of the brain that sort of takes things from the conscious, right, we'll handle that now. So he's got Osborne and Jeffrey in there. So it's like if you go to a place to work and you travel that same journey, then you move jobs, you may find yourself turning left to go to your old journey, old place, instead of turning right to the new place. So what's happened is that. So that's really what's happened there. So it's not necessarily a memory problem. But coming back to your question about names, there is a technique, and really the main reason why we forget it is we never get it in the first place. So most people's introductions are taken by, okay, I'll introduce myself, I've got to think of my name, I've got to get this right, and we never hear the other person's name in the first place.
We've got to get our own names right.
Yeah, well, it's all about, okay, well, I'm going to shake my hand, I've got to say my name properly, all that stuff's going on, and so we're focusing on ourselves, when really, when the name comes back to us,
yes,
we never hear it. And so because we never hear it, we've never taken control of it, so when we come to remember it, it's never been there in the first place, and that's why.
So when you're meeting new people, I mean, you've literally just walked in the studio, you've met several people here.
Yes.
Have you got them all kind of logged? Are you that good that you can kind of, have you got them sort of logged in your brain?
Yes, they're in the people
really?
I met. So Anthony came in, Sheila was my makeup artist, I spoke to Corinne down in the, who you've just spoken to.
How many of these are right? We've got to check.
No, they're all right so far. Go on, carry on.
And we had, and there's Joanna Nichols.
Yes.
So she's
yes,
yes,
he was a guest earlier.
Yes, so I spoke to those. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think it was Katie B is the research who contacted me yesterday.
Oh,
no,
my
she's
gosh.
off today. She was on till 9 o'clock last night. That's what she told me.
Oh, stop it! Now you're just showing.
You're
off.
reassuring.
But all that is not technique. My brain, your brains can do that, but I have a desire when I meet someone to actually remember their name. So I go through the process of hearing it, repeating it, using it, reviewing it, and it's there in my short-term memory. Now, I will probably have those fade away from my memory because I no longer need to use them, unless I want to, and there's things you can do then to increase them into your long-term memory.
Well, we're very impressed.
Thank you.
I think the whole team are impressed.
Whoever you are.
What is your name? I'm joking. Thank you very much. If people want more tips, questions as well, you are coming back later. Thank you. Michael.
Let's see what. Well, Michael Tipper, you're a memory expert. There is a blurring of the lines here between etiquette, which is, you know, wanting to say someone's name because that's polite and you want to give them respect, possibly.
Of course.
But if it's not there, what can you do? I mean, that's more awkward. Do you have a mechanism in place? Is that how you teach people?
Well, fundamentally, I think if you can't remember someone's name, the Queen uses a technique by not using someone's name, so she can bypass that. But if you can't remember someone's name, simply ask. And the way of asking is, don't say, well, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. Say, look, I didn't memorize your name properly the first time you said it. Could you tell me what it is again? That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is maybe a little sneaky. You could say, how do you spell your name again? And get them to spell it out. Or say, what's your name again? And they'll say their first name, John. No, I know your first name. What's your second name? And
everything's there's all repeat with danger. Because if you ask someone how, that's going to sound like an odd question on the face of it to ask someone how they spell their name. Well, when you're just talking to them.
Well, it's the case of Stephen, PH or V. So, for example, if you're going to introduce yourself to someone and you're meeting a Stephen, one of the things you can do when you actually talk to them is that you repeat the name back. And a way of cementing the name into your memory is by asking a clarification question, like, is that PH or with a V? And because you've talked about it, it's going to stay a little bit longer. And so that's one way of putting it into your memory. And then, of course, use the name, review it. So you might say, Charlie, that's a really good point. Or Louise, what question do you have there? So by doing that, you're making it stronger in the short term in your mind.
Michael, do you do that? Other Michael, do you do that?
Yeah.
Do you do that thing where once you've nailed someone's name and you absolutely know it, you use it far too much, almost like showing off?
There is that tendency to do it. I frankly think that...
Michael Brown, Michael Tipper, thank you both, and let's hope I remember their names. Thank you.
Let's see, time now is 9:49. You're watching Breakfast from BBC News.